If you posted a tier 1 help desk role this morning, let me tell you what the next 120 days of your life is going to look like. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. You're probably not going to like it. So this video is for MSP owners, ops leaders who have now entered that hiring cycle. Maybe someone quits. Maybe you're trying to fill a gap. Either way, you're going to find out that is going to be one of the most expensive decisions that you make. In this video, I'm going to talk you through the actual cost, the actual timeline, and the 3 options that you have available to actually fill that role. So you just posted a job. Woohoo! Congratulations. Here's what weeks 1 to 2 is going to look like. So you posted that job on LinkedIn, possibly Indeed. You probably even spent the time to update the job description or even create one from scratch. You use words like fast-paced environment or self-starter because that's what you've seen in the past, right? You have now become one of 400 tier 1 roles already posted on these platforms. You're off to a good start. In weeks 2 to 4, that's when the resumes start coming in. You probably see applications from people who've never heard of ConnectWise, and possibly may list Microsoft Office as a technical skill.
Seriously?
And you're going to spend probably 6 to 10 hours sorting through these resumes. It's going to feel a little bit hopeless. You're going to feel frustrated, but that's what the next 2 weeks of your life will look like. In weeks 3 to 5 is when you probably do phone screens. Some people don't show up. Some people do. The ones that show up may immediately tell you that they're interviewing at Best Buy as well. And, you probably pick about 4 to 6 people out of that phone screening process. From those phone screening process, you go into weeks 5 to 7, where you're doing actual interviews. Within those 4 to 6 interviews, you're going to get your heart broken a couple times. The ones that you're really interested and really happy to chat with may ghost you within the first or second rounds of those interviews, and it's really going to hurt. And then to round it all off, in weeks 7 to 8 is when you finally start making offers. So you've picked your top candidate, you extend that offer. Some of them may accept it. They may decline it. They may say that they took an offer somewhere else. And if that's the case, sorry to say, it's time to start that cycle all over again. So we're back to week 1. Quite unfortunate, but that's how it goes. And we haven't even started the job yet. And most MSP owners think when they hire, the easy part is the next step. But really and truly, this is where the most costly steps actually take place. The average tier 1 tech takes about 60 to 90 days to become independently productive. So that means for the first 2 months, someone else is going to have to be spending time to support that technician. So that may look like your senior engineer, or it may look like you for the next 2 months that has to be devoted to train this new hire. So let's do the math on that. A senior technician is about $60 per hour. So if we're taking 20% of that technician's time, 40 hours per week, that's about 8 hours out of their week that they are spending to actually train this agent. That's not even adding in things like licensing, including the time taken for that agent to read additional documentation, as well as those first couple tickets that, of course, they may mess up. All of these costs need to be considered in your calculations. Seeing as we're in the MSP industry, tier 1 tech agents, about 30 to 40% of those turn over within the first year. That's just the brutal reality of that ecosystem. So sorry to say it, after all of that training, all of the time spent, you're going to have to rehire. And that is the hiring treadmill. And if you don't become adapted, you're going to be running on that treadmill repeatedly. When people speak about the cost of salary, they don't include the other costs. We're looking at the job posting fees, screening time, which is your actual time, the onboarding time, ramp up time, and how that affects your client relationship, And then we have offboarding fees. So like notice periods when the agent actually does leave and what it takes to actually change those licensings internally are all built into that cost. And those are the things that we don't see on spreadsheets. It's not accounted for. It just lives in your margins. And that leads us to the 3 mistakes that MSPs make when they are hiring. They either rush the hire, which leads to you taking the best out of a bad batch because you need to hire quickly. So you don't really hire the quality that you need. You don't have the documentation, so that would lead to not having any type of run books and whoever is onboarding that agent actually being that run book. And then the third mistake is using salary as a lever. So possibly you bump up the salary a bit just to make that agent that you spent that time hiring and training stick. But most of these agents' salary is not the driving cost. They're looking for additional perks. They're looking for culture. They're looking for right fit. And because the industry is so competitive, if they don't get it at your company, they're going to move on very quickly. So what do you actually do? Well, you have 3 options. Option 1 is to fix the pipeline before you post the role. So I would say about 2 weeks before you actually post that role, you want to spend that time really digging deep to ensure that you have the documentation in place, to ensure that you have everything in place. So when you actually do start to hire, the onboarding process is going to be as smooth as possible. And really test it out. If you feel like it's going to take more than 30 days of time from your senior engineer or probably someone internally to actually train this agent, the issue is not the agent, it's actually your internal processes. Option 2 would be to hire junior and mentor intentionally. So stop hiring tier 1 roles and treating them like a vending machine where they're just dispensing ticket resolutions. If you hire someone junior and then plan like a 60 to 90 day mentoring ramp, you're able to have someone where tenure is built into that job role. Okay, so that's going to help with the turnover. Option 3 is that you outsource the functionality while you stabilize. So companies like LTVplus, we can help you outsource that support. We not only provide you with the fully dedicated tier 1 agents, but we do things like training, QA, and really just supporting you guys while you figure out what the next step looks like for your MSP. Wow. If you think that may be an option for you, I will leave some information below that you guys can link into and possibly have a discovery call and see if it'll be a good fit for you guys. Can it work for all MSPs? No, but for the ones that it can, we definitely are available there to have that chat. If you feel like you're bleeding tickets right now and you don't have time for that 120-day ramp-up cycle, that's where outsourcing becomes a really good option because we're actually able to provide you with agents within 2 to 3 weeks, as well as train them. But that is with a lot of collaborative and internal dialogue with those clients that we partner with. This 4-month hiring cycle that I described is not something that, we all want to be within. And I understand that. Look back at what hiring has been for you in the past, some of the things that have gone wrong, what you're not totally comfortable with, and then try to make those adjustments before you rush into hiring or filling a role because of an urgent need. And as I said, if the need is super urgent, you don't have the time, you want to scale, give us a call. We're here. Thank you so much for taking the time, and I'll catch you back again on another video.